big day in court for Dayne Brajkovich.
Yeah, gave evidence about those 2 charges for breaching WA's insignia laws. First was on January 21. Again, crime cop says he saw Dayne walking down Grandstand Road in Ascot wearing a Hells Angels shirt. Dayne says it wasn't him. He knows it wasn't him because the guy the cops filmed was wearing a cheap knockoff. The real deal should have had the word Australia under HAMC.
Everybody knows that.
Dayne told the court a real Hells Angel would know that because it was set out in the merchandise section of the gang's world rulebook.
And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
Besides which, Dayne said the fact his gold necklace cost him $200,000 was evidence. I don't wear fake shit.
I feel like I'm a legend and I deserve my roses while I can smell them.
And you thought it was from Prouds.
Dayne also said the guy the cops filmed walked with a limp. So it definitely wasn't him because I walked straight up and down looking like $1 million, this guy.
I look good. I mean, really good.
Not that he walked that often even because, as he told the judge, to keep fit, I take steroids and go to the gym.
Wow.
1002.
He explained the January 12 charge as a case of mistaken identity, which means that for a period there were 2 monstrously big, tattoo-covered meat axes in Hells Angels kit walking around Ascot.
Well, what was the excuse for the other charge?
That was 9 days after fake Dayne was seen in the fake T-shirt, January 30. That date's important because it was 2 weeks after Dayne says he ceased being a member of the Hells Angels Outlaw Motorcycle Club. He said he was kicked out on January 16 after he bashed the club's president.
Why would you do such a foolish thing?
They expelled him via a phone call.
Ouch.
Dayne said he waited 2 days for someone to collect his club kit because they usually take all your gear off you, anything Hells Angels. But nobody came, which he thought was f***ing pathetic. So he bagged it all up and chucked it in a good Sammy's bin.
I'm very charitable.
Now you know the backstory next time you see what appears to be a patch member of the world's biggest bikie gang selling the Big Issue in the Hay Street Mall.
He would have had a lot of stuff to get rid
8
of.
garbage bags full of it. I had Hells Angels everything, he said. The only thing I didn't have was Hells Angels socks and jocks.
My boys need a house.
Too much information.
Dayne told the court, possibly while freeballing, that the acrimonious circumstances of his departure from the club was relevant because I wasn't going to wear anything Hells Angels after they kicked me out like that. You wouldn't have seen me dead in Hells Angels anything. It's why he says the cops are wrong to claim he was flaunting gang tats when he was walking through the Belmont Forum shopping centre. Prosecutors produced CCTV of Brajkovich walking into Kmart, presumably buying some socks and undies, and the footage is meant to have shown the well-photographed 1% tattoo on Dayne's neck and a Hells Angels tat on his forehead. Dayne's lawyer refuted the CCTV, arguing those tattoos were covered by both makeup and sunglasses, in what I hope will become known as the Revlon Ray-Ban defence.
Well, Dayne sounds more convincing than Dominic Perrottet.
Dom's banging on again about how unfair the GST deal is, and Mark McGowan couldn't be happier about it. Now that the hard border's gone, Mark needs an issue that has popular support across the political divide, and this is it. The GST battle appeals to the ingrained suspicions every West Australian, Liberal or Labor, has about the wise men from the East.
Still taking credit for everything we did?
An entire generation of West Australian premiers have campaigned on this issue to good effect. McGowan wants it to be a live issue all the way up to March 8, 2025. That's the date of the next state election, and Sneakers would love nothing more than to remind us every day until then that he was the Premier that finally secured WA a fair share of GST. Guaranteed us at least 70 cents on the dollar, rising to 75 cents in 2024-25, which is not really fair at all, but you take what you can get. All the other pretenders tried, but only he nailed the deal, and only he can be trusted to defend that deal, because the alternative is this guy.
Well, hi everyone. Look, we're getting into the festive season. Christmas is getting closer.
That's David Honey's Christmas message to the people of Western Australia.
Consider a potluck Christmas.
It's about how to safeguard your Christmas day from electricity blackouts.
You know, keep lots of ice packs handy. Keep your receipts for all of these purchases and the things you've had to do.
Would you trust a $5.6 billion financial deal with that man?
I hope that I'm wrong.
So McGowan wants the money, but he actually wants the issue.
Albanese does not want the issue, especially by the time this date rolls around. That's the last date a federal election can be held. In the lead up to that day, at least whenever he's in WA, Albo will be making it sound like he's going to preserve the GST deal. But listen carefully, because he won't actually guarantee anything, because he's committed to a review of the system sometime after the election is held. That review must be completed well before this date. The current GST deal expires on June 30, 2026. You can bet the review is going to recommend a less generous system for WA because the review is being conducted by the Productivity Commission, which is based in Melbourne and Canberra, and is staffed
The
by...
wise men in the East.
And women. There are 24 billion reasons West Australia is about to get screwed by all genders. $24 billion is what the GST floor is costing the federal government because of the no worse off clause that was part of the deal. When ScoMo reworked the GST contract to give WA more, he knew he couldn't do it by giving the other parts of Australia less, so he topped up their payments with money from the federal budget. Those top-ups were meant to cost $2.3 billion over the life of the deal, but at last count they were on track to cost 10 times that.
So Albo might be tempted to scrap it.
And if he does, he might get a few extra votes in New South Wales. The GST isn't as big a political issue over there, but it's still a thing. Those extra votes might translate into extra seats. They won't translate to 15 extra seats, and that's how much he'll need to pick up because that's how many he will lose in Western Australia if he screws us over.
Definitely.
And that leaves it open for Dagwood Dog Dutton to re-sign the deal and move into the lodge before the ink dries. Although having something in ink doesn't guarantee anything today. I'm Ben Harvey.
If anyone knows how to murder someone and get away with it, it would have been him.
He was an animal.
You believe Gary White is an innocent man?
100%.